Hello, YouTube viewers. We are in Nha Nam, about an hour and a half ride outside of the city of Soc Trang in southern Vietnam. And this is a view of their famous floating market, which I believe is over to ahead and to our right. I'm not sure what kind of photo advantage I will get, but we're going to wander around and see what there is to discover together. So I'm just going to send out an invite to our Twitter friends to let us know where to reach us, and we shall be on our way. So let me just do a space. There you go. Okay. Alrighty then. So, yeah, I'm here for 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe as many as 5 hours. So I have many opportunities to power down and to go back up again, depending on the conditions, the noise, so on and so forth. So hopefully, hello already, AZ Mommy. No, it's not you. It's, oh my God. Your timing is impeccable. Wait, let me get a face. Let me see let you see my face. Why, it's little Ms. Mosquito Coil. How cool of you to come in. We are it. You and I are getting the first view of Nha Nam, which is in southern Vietnam. It's a floating marketplace. So enough of this, right? But how's your daughter? How is Arizona life? How is Carrie doing? The little little Ms. Yes, autocorrect got you. I know. Autocorrect, get the hell out of our moment together. You're not welcome. Man, that was funny when it occurred. It was, what was it? It was Jennifer Beals' prettier younger sister. The little inconsiderate thing that she was. Anyway. Yeah, so I'm here till the end of the month, and let me put on my, let's see if I can read the comments with the shade. No, it's more challenging with the shade. So look, there aren't a lot of tourists here, so I'm like, a guilo is the Chinese name for a pale face. I don't know what the Vietnamese call us, but the Chinese call us guilos. Hey, it's Paco del Taco. Boy, we have a little audience. It's just us guys. I'm glad that it's just us guys, even for a little while. Who knows? So this is the entrance of the market. I guess like it's where the town proper is, meets like the tributary. But I think like if I go in the opposite direction, is where we start seeing like the people who have like a shop in their boat. And it is hot as fuck. Do you mind me using like, you know, salty language? Kids, wait a second, I'm touching and I'm not getting, do you mind me using salty language? You know, for effect. Only for effect, not to be vulgar or anything to that effect, you know? So yeah, I came from that away. It took an hour and a half by motorbike, and this old guy, like his leather, I mean his skin was like leather, and I think kind of proud of what happened. Yesterday there was like a really long process negotiation, and it wasn't the driver's fault. It was this little concierge who really is not ready for prime time yet, who made things way too complicated. And we got to the point where we negotiated. He's going to pick me up at the hotel, drop me off here, pick me up at 4 p.m. here, and drop me off back at the hotel. Simple, apparently, but 45 minutes and I still didn't get a result. Am I ranting? Maybe, but I'll get over it soon. So the thing is that I asked them how much at that point, you know, when they agreed, okay, that's what the deal is. So they said 800,000 dong. And I said, wait a minute, to myself, you don't like just take the first thing and say okay, because that's how you ruin an economy, where you make it expensive for the next guy, because they're always going to try to make it a little more expensive, because here they negotiate. You don't just take the first fucking offer. Are you listening, kids? Not you, but you know, the replay people. Can't believe you're still there. I came back. Oh, you mean like this time around? Yes, I gave myself 2 months and a half. So I'm on my second month, and I've already I took 1 month in Vietnam, did 2 weeks in Taiwan, and I'm on my last month in Vietnam again. And I go home February 28th. So I'll be ready to go home, because there's still about a month left of winter. So I'm not gonna cry about it, because a month goes by quickly. Hey Ava Grace, how are you? So now I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, so the price was 800. So I said, don't take the first one. I mean the internal voice, the internal dialogue. Oh, that's your daughter. Hey, hi. I don't think we've ever met, but I'm sure you've heard of me. This is it. We can carry on now. Alrighty. Hey, we're in the shade. Good, because I can read comments. Check out my. This is, you know, Rembrandt, the Rembrandt. This is him sketching himself, because he would have like people in his paintings go or do weird expressions. He was weird that way, but he was a really good businessman, and I think he became a good artist because he couldn't afford to live without selling paintings to wealthy people that could afford to have him paint them in his paintings. And so he became rich out of necessity. Continuing, so I said, wait a minute, what will he say if I offer him 700,000 dong? So from 800,000 to, he went, yes, easy peasy, easy as that. There was no like, oh, you're driving a hard bargain. It was like, I probably could have gone down to 600, but I'm not that asshole. Just to say that you get more respect when you earn what you negotiate. And the thing is that he's a good guy. He got me here in one piece, and it's treacherous. Well, no, it's flat land, but there's some like road construction and stuff. And the fact that I got all my fingers and toes, hopefully when I get back, I'm gonna give him the full 800, but that's between me, you, and the lamppost. All right, so this is what we just arrived. Well, actually, I arrived about an hour ago. I had to sit down. I had something to drink. And I think it's over by there where the marketplace occurs, but there's like the outdoor market, and then there's the floating market. So we're gonna wander together and see things for the first time together. And you guys can say, wait, what's that thing? And then say, get closer. And well, don't ask me to ask them a question, because nobody here speaks English, but check out the fruit. See, I'm drawn to this. Look at this, the first stall. So anything your heart desires, my camera is yours. Hi. And they love a live streamer here in Asia, by the way. Everyone likes to photobomb. Kids come up and they say, hi, how are you? And, you know, they don't threaten you with violence like happened a couple of days ago in, never mind, we won't go there. All right, is this thing on? Are you guys still there? Oh, look at these veggies. Okay, you're there. Good. So, so yeah, let's stay in the shade because the camera. These are kumquats, by the way. Hello. So he wants to be acknowledged, and these are kumquats. It's like tiny little limes, and they're delicious in teas and drinks, and like when you're putting lime on your meal, like on meat or something. Hey Paula, how's it going? Okay, wait, where is he? Yeah. So he needs to be in the shot, and I like to acknowledge people that go out of their way, like you, Paula. to give me a hello. Wait a minute. Doing some pantomime thing. Mask, no. I'm too cool for mask. I've been masked out. I was in Taiwan and it was constant masking and I'm tired of wearing a mask. Anyways, a lot of people here aren't wearing masks. Any truth to the unusual that you would be new to try? Any fruit? Oh, that's unusual that you'd be willing to try. Let me see. Not sure. There was this weird. I went to a temple yesterday. Hi. I'm not sure what you're telling me, but I think it's just being acknowledged. And sometimes you get a sense that they are proud to be where they're from, and they're saying, "Look, you've come to visit us. You must see what is cool about our place too." So as for fruit, I like trying new things, and then like if I don't like it, I'll spit it out. But I didn't go out of my way, and fruit is less scary than like weird meat. You know what I mean? Like yesterday, I had 3 oysters, and they were raw, but I had to. I did a variation. They gave me wasabi, and they gave me those little sliced kumquats. So I had raw oysters on ice with wasabi and lime, and it was delicious. It grew hair on my chest. Any fruit that, yeah. So I've been taken under the wing by a local who is a Canadian citizen, and he teaches Vietnamese how to drive tractors in Canada. And he comes here to visit his family because he makes a lot of money in Canada, and then I guess he comes here for the winter. Are you going back to, Monkey Island is on Da Nang. Yes, I'm going to Da Nang, but, okay, Little Ms. Mosquito Coil, here's the choice. Hoi An, that antique village that we also spent some time together, just one day, is like a 45-minute ride from Da Nang. So I have to time it carefully because I want to go at night at Hoi An because they have those lanterns along the riverside and all those antique porches, with those lanterns, and on the boats, the lanterns and the antique villages, and that's what I want to do. I want to spend a night or two, and it's like really close to Da Nang. So Da Nang, I want to go back to that place called the Memory Hostel. It's a really cool place, so narrow, and like I had a little like private Pope's deck overlooking the street. And so yes, you can do a day thing on. It's not Monkey Island, it's Monkey Mountain, I think. I think it's Monkey Mountain. Have you tried durian? Hey, Keith, it's possible, but you know what? I'm gonna make a note of it just to make sure, because in Taiwan and in Vietnam, well, anything that grows on the planet not only grows here, but flourishes here. Like, plants look so fucking happy. It's just weird how content they are. And everything that comes out of the soil comes out fresh, crisp, tasty, and great on your plate. So I'm sure they grow durian here, and I'm sure it tastes better than durian that comes from China. So let's wander closer to the boats. I gotta watch my feet because I hurt my quads at different times, but in the same place. So I'm thinking, I think I might have gotten dehydrated. And my quads are saying, you're an old man now, and you gotta watch yourself. Oh look, see, this is how traditionally they get it around, by boats, and the rivers was their highways before motorbikes. So this has got to be like somebody's pineapple farm. So boat after boat after boat. So I'm sure there's a durum here, and if you were to spot one with your eyes, point it out and I'll buy one, and I'll have somebody cut it up for me, and we can do it on the camera, and I can tell you what I think. How's that sound? But no pressure, right? I can file it for later and then report back on Twitter if it takes that. You've heard that, oh, it's god awful. Okay, well, why would I want You mean like stinky stuff? Yeah, like breadfruit or something. Yeah, no, why would I do that when there's so many good tasting things here? I mean, look at those mangoes. I mean, if it fell on your head, you would have a concussion. I haven't seen mangoes that big. You heard it's god awful. Well, I thank you for your wonderful suggestion. So I think I'm going to pass on the Durham, or I'll do it like, what was that thing, the cinnamon test, where you're supposed to down a spoonful of cinnamon and live to tell about it? Yeah. Well, or I'll sell it, like it's a challenge, right? To see how, and the Academy Award goes to, the face that looked like he really liked it, but it really tasted terrible. There's that. So I don't know how long this roadside, with the water on that side goes, but we're gonna see how far it goes, and then we're gonna walk our way back. And then, yeah. So catching up with you guys. This is what happened. A couple of days ago, I hit that magic 50 subscriber number, and it allowed me to go live a lot easier for some reason. They really make it hard for you to go live with a third-party app. Your daughter wants to know if you've seen anteaters. No, I have not. I'm trying to think of, I saw a rat. Where did I see a rat? Wait a minute. In Ho Chi Minh City. And he was a fast-moving rat, and he was a daytime rat. Normally they're nocturnal. And this was this really cool park in the middle of a place called District 1, which is the highly touristic place of Ho Chi Minh City. And it's weird because you have traffic on all sides of the park, but once you're in it, all of a sudden that traffic noise disappears, and you've got, like, you can be by yourself, like we are on the road, where there's nobody, like there are a lot of benches, so people tend to like space themselves out, and they have like a private moment. So you can hang out there with a nice tea and not really cross too many people in a really busy city. So I saw a rat, and he was fast, and some French lady saw it too, and she pointed, like, did you just see what I saw? Yes, I did. So there. Oh, and we almost had a roadkill today. There was a chicken in the road, and my driver Kwong had to slow down to avoid running over it. So I would like to go there, but I have a feeling that it's private property, and I'm not gonna take liberties with other people's thing. Rats are like midget anteaters. Well, the long nosedy ones, and his nose was pretty pointy, I have to say. But anteaters are way slower than And I think there was a famous comedian, trying to remember his name, and he was like either an anteater or an aardvark, and he spoke out of his, like, the long little spoke like this, but he spoke with a really heavy New York Yiddish accent, and I'm trying to remember the name. He's like a famous stand-up comedian. Hey Paula, you have the best stories. Thank you, Paula. I try to regurgitate what happened in my past, or what things that I'm favorite about that are apropos to, like, the discussion at the moment. And sometimes I hit, and sometimes it's a miss. And I'm trying to. Oh, his name I almost got him, but I have to let it go. Anyway, yeah. So we did see a chicken. Oh, and I did see a chicken in a cage, but it looked like the prize chicken that you would like pamper and bring to the fair, and he wins the gold ribbon. Like, he was in this beautiful kind of metal cage that was like big enough that he had enough room to strut his stuff. And I was on the live stream, but I think I didn't like stop my camera on him, because the moment that we passed him, he was already in the rear view, and that was that. Anyway, I'm trying to think of animals, because no, we saw more animals last time. We saw monkeys in Da Nang, but at that temple place, when the sun would go down, the monkey families would come out and they would ask for food. They wouldn't grab for food. And you would give it to them politely, and they would take it politely, and they were nice. And I was thrown off. I go, where are these nice monkeys? Where did they get raised? Because I always heard they were pretty nasty things. I know you were in that broadcast, so you remember. So yeah, I was kind of like, wow, I'm really impressed by these monkeys. Anyway, so that was in Da Nang. I don't think I need to go there again per se, but there was Marble Mountain, and I think it's called Monkey Mountain. And unless Monkey Mountain is in another destination, but I think it's Da Nang. Anyway, I do have Da Nang on my trip, because I have to make my way up north slowly. And yeah, I told you I want to go to Hoi An for an overnighter, if not 2 overnighters, but at least 1. And I might give Da Nang a full day. So yeah, stay tuned. Is it best for me just to go live on YouTube, or is it because I posted a tweet on Twitter that you were alerted because Keith is still on Twitter? Any which way, whatever works. We are heading to grab dessert. We will be back in a few. Have fun. Thank you, because I have a full day of wandering.
Hello.
Hi, how's it going? Hello. And I just got patted by the belly, on the belly, by a nice guy. I hope he didn't pick my pockets. Yeah. I mean, so what's up? It's like my pocket right here. There's nothing in my back pocket except, yeah, nothing. All right, so enjoy your dessert. I hope that, I was told that in Arizona, if you go to an ice cream place and your car is in like a parking lot and you walk out of the place, your ice cream can melt by the time you get to your car. So maybe you eat it in air-conditioned conditions, or they've processed ice cream so that you get enough time to make it to your car, or maybe they just hand it to you in the car window. I don't know. I haven't been to Arizona, but maybe one day I will. Hey Chris, how's it going? So we are here in Nang Nam, and I don't know how long I've been live for 23 minutes, and Little Miss Mosquito Coil and Paco Del Taco and Little Miss Mosquito Coil's daughter has joined us, and Paula is here as well. So welcome, welcome, welcome. It looks like the floating market is on the other side of this terrain, so people are off the river trading, but I can find little avenues in to see the boats. They're a little more claustrophobic, and there's a lot of daytime left, and so I'm going to, I don't know, just keep wandering and stretch my legs for a bit. And so yeah, so Paco said, hey, have you tried Durham? And then I'm thinking, I don't know, maybe, I don't know. And then he says, oh, it's supposed to taste really awful. So I'm going, wait a minute, why would I want to taste something pretty awful? So I'm thinking, yeah, maybe take a rethink on that. Hi. Hi. So this is not Mulligan's Bar. Right, Chris? Complete opposite in terms of demeanor and welcome. Hi.
Hi.
So Guaylo gets a great welcome in Nang Nam. An hour and a half ride out of Soc Trang, southern Vietnam, and it's pretty sweltering. So it looks like the temperature has gone up 10 centigrade. 10 centigrade. And yeah, so I had to sit down. I gave Kwang something to drink. I offered him anything he wanted to eat. He wasn't hungry for food. He just had like a milky tea or something. And off he is, and he reassured me that he would be at our designated spot at 4 p.m. today. And I'm taking him at his word because he seems to be that kind of a stand-up guy. Well, if we stay in the shade, right? So that's where I was. I was in the shade all that time, and I ate fish and chicken and roast ribs and rice and vegetables and 3 drinks, and that was all 100,000. And we're coming up to this place right here on our right. This lady here is where Kwang is going to pick me up later today. So we can wander over into the village, I guess. You might like it though, you never know. Okay, Keith, I won't prejudge. And you don't really ask a lot, you know? Hardly anything. So I'll give it the merit and the weight. Look at this cabbage or whatever, the kale or something. It's like, oh my God, where do they grow this stuff? Oh man, is it hot? Whoa, I could like use an umbrella, like right there, you know. And oh, look, you can rent a hammock, but I'm not gonna get in a hammock. But man, it's hot. Let's see, I'm wondering if I'm encroaching on somebody's shade here, even if I stand here for 3 seconds and we look at the tributary through the so look, yeah, in Myanmar or Burma, they have canoes made out of longer, like twice as long of tree trunks that are hollowed out like those kind of canoes, and it's similar kind of rowing action that people get around. And because it's a shallow lake and not too high waves, you know, people build their homes on stilts, like on teak stilts. And let me get in the shade so that I can read the comments here. You might like it there, you never know. Yeah. So it's still, even in the shade, the humidity is something else. It's something else. Luckily, I brought a tank top so I could take off my cotton shirt if I want. But you know, in Asia, there's a certain modesty, like for exposed skin. You know, like if you go in a temple, you don't want to go with shorts on, and you don't want to go with a tank top or a wife beater type of thing. Here in the market, I think there are people, because it gets so humid, that you can get away with a tank top. But normally, like, even if it's this humid, people have like long pants. And by the way, you save yourself mosquito bites by wearing long clothing. And I hear some rustling from the table. So even men can't wear tank tops. No, they can, and they do, but it's when it's appropriate, is what I'm saying, because I'm not seeing a lot of tank tops. Like maybe if somebody's unloading a boat and they're sweating bullets, but I'm looking, there's a certain Asian modesty. Like also, it's like when everyone gets on the same page, like the masks. Okay, right, these are kids on bikes, and maybe they're wearing the mask for the fumes. See, this one isn't wearing a mask, but like in Taiwan, everybody wearing a mask. And I think their belief is that that's why they survived the whole COVID thing with flying colors. So why don't we go over there? We'll risk. See, I gotta watch these steps, and that's how I messed up my quads, by not paying attention to where I'm walking. And even a little thing like that is enough to throw you off when you're dehydrated, which I might have been, and that's why I gotta be more careful in where I'm moving. So let's go to this little corner here because it's probably a good money shot, and we're alone and I can be in the shade of the tree. So okay, Paula, I'm wearing a tank top but under my shirt. I have to take my shirt off because it might get too hot, but again, if I feel comfortable doing that. So, you know, like I might say, oh, you know what? I want to sit there and order myself something refreshing to drink. Yes, I do. I do have, and I just hydrated, but right now I'm going to show you stuff that I have yet to see and then hydrate as we go. So thank you for your concern. I think I'm capable of spacing out my pit stops and my drinks and food and so on and so forth, as well as keeping the running commentary going on, because I like this little spot and the shade is really nice. I can feel the breeze in my back. And I don't even have to check a certain app. I know it's not safe to fly my drone because there's a breeze. And if it was not breezy, I would probably like to find a quiet place. Like here would be a perfect place to launch my drone, but you can see the leaves, they're blowing. So that might blow my drone like over there, and then that would be $600-700 down the drain. So we're not gonna go there. But if it was still weather today, I certainly would, because I'd love to see what these places look like from above. Another day. We'll have another look at the bike on the boat. So boatman, take me to the other side. So yes, Paula, I do have water with me. It's within reach, and I probably get to like in the shade and order myself something to drink from one of these, because that looks like the town proper. Behind me was the market as such. So this is a little more civilized, but I just wanted to get a sense. Okay, so they're chucking, you know, I remember I was on the Greek islands once in the 90s, and you know, in the Greek islands you're doing a lot of boating things, and I remember like on the boat I seeing like one of the boat deckhands throwing like vegetables and stuff in the water. And he turns to me and he says, "For the gods," and then he just like keeps tossing stuff in. So yeah, I never forgot that moment. And I figure, yeah, you give them something, and then hopefully you get to safely to where you need to be. So I'm not sure, you know, like on YouTube. You can see the people's last chat, but you don't see when they come and they go. And so that I'm kind of out of sorts with it. I just haven't, because I'm still new to live streaming on YouTube. So, you know, like I know that Chris was here for a while, and so was Keith, and so was Amanda, and so was her daughter, which I think they told me what her name was, but AZ Mommy, yeah, and then Rats, and then hold on a second. Have you been to Anteaters? Oh, Ava Grace. Okay, so now I know what Ava Grace's name is. So I'll try and put that in my hardwired memory as opposed to the goldfish one, which isn't very good for retaining things. Yes, and you can see who's here. Oh, I didn't know, because unless they, oh, you can't. Yeah, that's what I'm gathering, and thank you, because now you're letting me know that at least yourself is there, and Paula was the last to comment, but she's not obligated to keep, you know, the, and Keith is still here. Okay, yes, she's Ava Grace. Okay, wow, okay, so what do you think? Shall we cross over this bridge over here and then wander over by that way and maybe sit down for a spell and have a drink? What do you think? All right, that was a smile. So I'm going to take that as a yes. Affirmative. Because Paula is concerned that I am hydrating enough. So we're going to do something about that toot sweet. There's also these roadside things. So if, like I perish before I make it over the bridge, I can always come back and say, give me a water. But I have one in my pack, which I'm not touching. I'm saving it in case, I get thirsty on the road or something. Looks like a good place to, it does. Well, when it's breezy and there's enough cloud cover, because right now we got some cloud and it's not as treacherous as it was 20 minutes ago. Shit. I did a weird stumble and my quads started fusing up. So in fact, I just ate something and I have some medication that they say you can take a half hour after you've eaten. So I'm gonna hydrate and then take some of that anti-inflammation medication. And so thank you for, wait, what's that? Looks like, yes, a good place over there, yes. And look, there's a good rail I can use as a support. And it's a gradual incline. Because it's those little shifts in, flooring that get me when I'm walking and talking and getting distracted. So, wait a minute. So right now, the sun is very bright, but this is deserving of a view. So there are no cars allowed on this little bridge. Oh look, they have a halogen light there, or LED light, to light the bridge up at night. And so obviously this bridge is for pedestrians and motorbikes and bicycles. So let's head on over there and have ourselves a sit down and a drink. Yeah, because if my quads were all of a sudden like buckling underneath my feet for the slightest little provocation, that would probably be an indication that you need to hydrate. So I am listening to you, body. Don't betray me again. Oh, look at these old TV sets. Wow, so this is where old TV sets come to die, or old computer monitors. Doot-dee-doot-dee-doo. Mebao and Mbe. Oh, I think that's a children's store, like formula and, prams and things of that sort. Like it's a specialty store and it's like in a key corner because people have families, and they have kids and they want to come in and out quickly. And they don't want to have, oh no, you're out of formula. Oh my God, what am I going to do? So let's go on the shady part and then I can read when and if you comment. That's better. And we're gonna find a good sit down spot like on the corner. Hi. Everyone's been smiling. Everyone's been smiling at me almost the entire time I've been here in both Vietnam and in Taiwan, and it's coming from like a genuine kindness and a genuine hi, acknowledge me and happy to see somebody visiting us. And it's the complete opposite of stink eye. Oh, there's a stupid YouTuber. The Karens say, stop filming me! Erase your phone! those people. Complete opposite. Nothing like, they probably don't seem any, well, here exactly, yes, that is true. But in the places where you are seen and in numbers, and you bring a lot of, like, there's a transaction where there's a lot of, you know, services that are provided for whatever your need is, somebody will fill in that space. Here it's a little more complicated because they're not used to the kind of demands that are put out by travelers. You know, they need a bus, and they need to know the time, and they need to say, well, I need a driver to take me to the bus station, and I need, and I'll pay. And they'll say, yes, please, give us your business. Here, it's not that worked out. They haven't gotten that developed yet. But it's a work in progress is the thing. And this is the fun part about a place that's not too developed, is that it ends up being in negotiations. Now, I want to show you. Do you see how low those chairs are to the tables? I ain't doing it. I want a tall bar stool, except maybe that table at the corner. I can do that one. Okay. Let's commandeer it because it's right on the corner. It looks like the star table, like who would sit at that table if it was the only table? Chairman of the board, right? And he would have his rat pack there. So that's a chair for me. Okay. So I am mic'd up and I have to take off my bag, and I'm out of practice. So I have to unmic carefully. Yeah, it's the truth. Oh look, there's a kid. And he's both enamored and kind of shy. And he has the menu at the ready, and I have to sit down awkwardly. And he's got the giggles. So see, Paula, I do have some water, but I'm gonna get something cold. And okay, mission accomplished. Come on. Okay. I think it's peach tea.
This is me. Hey, I want to read some gifts.
YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, what? I think he's asking me something, and he's a little bit, you know, at first he has a job to do, right? And I think his curiosity will get the better of him, and he'll figure out, me and him together, we'll negotiate what he's trying to ask me, and hopefully I can leave him with a good impression of the visiting Guaylo here. Oh, it's a really nice breeze. Oh, look at passing us by here. We got a nice seat. I might stay here all afternoon. Possibly, yeah. I got that, so I can do that. I have it on text, because even me, I couldn't, for the life of me, if you held a gun to my head like 2 days ago, give you my YouTube link. And in the wee hours of the morning, I said, okay, I gotta stop looking for stuff and wasting time. So I found the link and I put it in a note so I know exactly where it is, where to find it, and then he's gonna give me his phone and we're gonna slow hand type it one letter at a time if that's what it takes. Don't you worry, I got all afternoon. So let's see what happens when okay, that's about as tall as I can put you guys. If I put you over here, let's see if I get in the Hello. Hello. Look, it's Rembrandt. Peekaboo. So yeah, I was. I think it was with you, Paul. I was talking about modesty. There's a certain amount of modesty that is just unspoken, but you won't get people judging you if you go with your tank top. You don't get a lot of judgment, or they got really good poker face and they quietly judge you, but you never know it. Hard to say. This looks like a nice spot. It does. It's breezy. It's right on a corner, and even though I know like just a couple of feet by there, it is sweltering. But for some reason there's like a coolness on this side of the shade that is working in my favor. I'm really comfortable, Paula, where I am. And look at, we've got like, this is like stock footage. Oh my God, where can anybody within 1,000 miles of me come up with an image like this? Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, YouTube.
I know.
No?
I have.
Okay, so apparently not. He doesn't want my YouTube. So maybe he thought I was asking him to be on YouTube. Hard to say. Doesn't matter. If he wants something, he'll figure it out. Oh look, I get two drinks. I got that and that. So I'm not sure. Yeah, it does look. And look at Paula, I'm hydrating. All right, and there's actual fruit in the bottom of this. Like, look, see, it's in my straw. By the way, I want to ask the room, have any of you had bubble tea? Let me taste this because I got two things. This tastes like oolong tea with ice. I like oolong tea because they don't sweeten it. Thank you. I think so too. I mean, and it's going to go on all day. So, but at some points I have to put down the phone and find a right focal point. Like, we can ask the gentleman to move the chair so it'll get out of the shot a little later. Right now I got to find my anti-inflammatory after you've eaten medication and get that out of the way. Like, for instance, the good doctors in the Saigon emergency hospital that I went to 3 weeks ago prescribed this. So this is it's a Plop Plop Fizz Fizz, and it's an anti-inflammatory painkiller. And these guys, you're supposed to take, these are muscle relaxant, and you're supposed to take before a meal, which I did. So a couple of times a day. And these guys, I only have 2 left. You take after a meal, and they might be for pain, muscle pain. So I'm gonna be a good boy and take me medicine and hydrate, because I had a mini spasm on the way here, and I'm realizing like hydration is like an ongoing thing on a day like today. So let's not tempt fate. Wow, I like this spot. We chose well. And as far as live streaming goes, by the way, Paula, you're a good fan of Dave's, and I think Dave is supposed to go live in Kuala Lumpur. Do you know if he has gone live? You know what, I'm going to check my other phone and just see, because I think I can do both at the same time. So yes, I've got me other phone right here. So let's check and see if Dave has gone live. Do, 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 do. Thank you, Chris. Dave was on earlier. Okay, so I missed him. And I think I'm being asked for like a couple of thousand. Like it's just like a couple, and I think that I'm in a nice place where it's not that big a deal. And I think the going rate is 2, and I can't move. Oh, you can't move. So wait, the boy will. So we're gonna figure out how to get him some because they have lottery tickets, and basically the elderly and the invalid and so on and so forth. I guess they're able to supplement their income by selling the lottery tickets and saving face at the same time. He's wanting to take a picture.
Có đò hả?
He's over there. So thank you for letting me know. You're saving me. Dave was on earlier. Okay, so I'll watch the replay. I wanted to see him. I thought maybe I'd be on a motorbike and I'd be watching his replay on the back of a motorbike, but they are back now. Yeah, no, he went over there. But so he's using translator, so I can tell him he can take a picture. Productivity. There's a couple of things going on. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's look at this. Okay, so
Để có phụ. Chắc không gì. Chào cái nè.
Yes. Okay,
Thank you.
come on. So that wasn't asking a lot. That wasn't like pulling teeth or anything. That was just like really sweet and over and done with. Get on with your day. And he told me that the wheelchair guy would be back later, I think. So, oh, and I dropped my medication packet, and I need this. So it is breezy, so I gotta watch everything while I'm in mid-conversation and, dealing with stuff. You really need to keep your wits about you, not because people are gonna rip you off or anything. The breeze is gonna take your stuff. So I think I might sacrifice. You know what? I'm gonna have my oolong tea, and I have some water, and I'm gonna use the Plop Plop Fizz Fizz with the water, and then wash it down with with there are other ways of spelling it, but yes, I think Teresa. You know Teresa from Thailand. She's good friends with JL from Switzerland. I think they're really close, and John Ho and a whole bunch of people. And she was really active on Periscope, I guess, and she's still active on Twitter, and she does like a lot of foodie stuff. She used the word guaylo as well the other day, and she spelt it slightly differently. So I assume she's probably a little more, because she's Thai, right? But she's like worldly. So she obviously knows what it means, and she's using it freely, even though it can be considered like the N-word. Yeah, me either, until I saw her spell it the other day, and I'm more comfortable now. But, it's like when you appropriate something, like you happen to be one, so I guess you're allowed to refer to yourself as such, or even allude to that's what somebody is thinking about you because of your complexion condition. But I'm doing it all in good fun, and hopefully it's not harming anybody. He's saying. Okay, so I had a piece of fruit stuck in my straw, in my Greta non-approved straw. And Siri is still like, or not Siri, but Google Translate is still translating what I'm saying. It's like, no, I'm not talking to you, Google Translate. So this is my Z stone, which got converted into a ring. It's Tibetan, and it has certain properties that I still need to understand a little bit about it. But apparently, because I'm wearing it on my right hand, it's more things that I'm emanating as opposed to things that I'm receiving. If it was on my left, I'd be receiving. It could be taken as, well, yes, in the context, especially as an Asian referring to, and then they don't even know you're talking about Zaguilo, then that would be the pejorative context. But when you're doing it in tongue-in-cheek and saying, well, why don't I just have fun with, being the guilo in the room? Because I kind of am the guilo in the room, if you're being, accurate or technical about it. But not in a way that, like you're seen as a threat or as a an outsider or somebody who doesn't belong or somebody who isn't welcome. Then it's in that other territory. It's not overly sweet, which is good. I'm starting to be a little more cognizant of how much sweetening are in my beverages, because I think, like, American tastes. Hi, welcome back. So did you go for ice cream? Was it cold? I assume it's Arizona, so it has to be cold. Was it frozen yogurt? Was it sherbet? Sherbet? Was it sherbet? Because sherbet is just really light and flavorful, but like 0 calories. So you're going, no guilt, I got sherbet. Because I was having something called dragon fruit, I think, or passion fruit smoothie, and it was like a sherbet that you could drink through a straw. It's like mid-50s. Oh, it's pretty cold. Okay, so chocolate fudge, like warmed. Oh, I didn't think Arizona got cold to 50, because apparently, 50 sounds pretty cold. Let's see, I was picturing somebody leaving an ice cream parlor and it completely melting by the time you got to your car. I've heard of stories like that. So, not so much, right? I'll just have to go to Arizona and find out for myself. Anyway, we found a great little perch here. Look at the view that we have. Check this out. We get 20s in the winter. So how do you like them apples? Hey, it's Uber Eats. They're right on their way. Delivery in 15 minutes, guaranteed. All right, Keith. So I believe that's a woman who is doing the rowing. Thank you, Paula. I'm glad that you are here to see it, because it's, let's say, okay, so it's 1:15. I'm not talking to you, Siri, go away. Siri, go away. Siri, go away.
Okay.
He said okay. All right. So there's the barge. Yeah, now see, Siri interrupted my train of thought and I forgot what I was going to tell you. Damn you, Siri. I am drinking, well, I was given by my gentleman, I pointed at this. It's a fruit drink with little mulled fruit.
I don't know what you mean by.
Okay, Siri, shut up, go away, shut up, go away, shut up, go away. Thank you. God. And this is oolong tea unsweetened. So this is slightly sweetened. Oh yeah, I was talking about sweetened drinks. I'm more mindful of what I'm putting like in terms of drinks, because I think like North American standards are saying, no, I want like sweetened, I want sweetened tea, I want sweet tea. So when you're buying like a Lipton's tea, it's pretty sweetened, I think, even for Asian standards, and that might be like an imposition on this part of the world that's going to turn people, you know, overweight. Because that's what happens on like islands like Fiji, where they start eating a lot of imported junk food. They start becoming fat when they were never fat to begin with. So I got to be careful how much. Like in Taiwan, you can go from 100% sweetener to 10%. So I've been mindfully just asking for 10%, and it's enough. And my frozen dragon fruit smoothie from the other days were not sweetened at all, and they tasted great. Thanks for asking. So I'm going to finish the oolong tea and then put my effervescent medication, but I'm going to use my water, and then I'm going to wash the bad taste down with this slightly sweetened tea. Not overly sweetened, but it's kind of like, it looks like peach pieces in peach tea. So there's what we're drinking. Thanks for asking. So the breeze is coming from that direction right there. And of course I can't fly my drone. And I'm not too upset about that. I'm grown up. I can fly my drone on you know, I had fun flying my drone in a hostel lobby with the night guy, because it was pretty empty at the time. And he expressed some interest in like maybe buying a cheap drone, and I tried to persuade him that that was not the case for him, that he had to hold out for a DJI drone, and I tried to sell it. I gave it my best shot. So we actually launched the drone in the lobby, and we just let it hover and moved it around while we were both on camera. And I made a shorter video of it, and I sent it to him on WhatsApp yesterday, and he answered back with a thanks and hope I was having a good time here in Soc Trang. So oh yeah, so I guess that's how you get your bicycle or motorbike across the tributaries here. Oh, okay. I only wear that on holiday. I bought that in Fiji, in the capital, which is Suva. And you know, there's a market there, and they make certain things by hand, like the Fijians, not the Indians that were brought there by the British, but the Fijians themselves. And they carve these fish hooks out of walrus tusk. And I must have bought around 9 of them, and I gave them away as gifts when I came back home from Fiji. And this is the one I chose for myself. And it has a little chink, like a little, no, not a pejorative, a little chip in the tooth. But I can restore it. Actually, I think I did restore it, but I need to put a pin. You know, like a dentist puts a, you know, I can't remember what they're called, but when you lose a tooth and then they post, I guess, yeah, post. So I can put a little post and then put some epoxy and then reset the tooth. So it's a fish hook. It's Fijian, and I only wear it when I'm on vacation. And when I go home, it goes in my curio cabinet. And thanks for asking. And in fact, the ones that I gave away as a gift, I still get. You remember that thing you gave me when you went to Fiji? I love it so much. I like things like that. Because, you know, when you buy one, you pay the price. But when you buy 9 of them, somehow you get a better deal. Especially in Fiji, because they can't bargain. They don't have it in their culture. The price is the price. And when you try to like haggle with them, it's a problem. Because they're uncomfortable and they can't articulate that this is not how things are done. But when you pile on and say, okay, well, okay, I want this and not the other thing, then you can come to a mutual understanding and get a better price without them losing face. Yeah, it is neat. Actually, you know, the threading around it was done by me before leaving on this holiday, because the original one started to fray. Like, I would go scuba diving and I would go snorkeling in the Fijian waters with this, and you know, it goes in salt seawater and stuff, and it started, and also the I changed the cable because it was scratchy, the original one, and this one's like a little more soft on the neck. So I think I did a pretty good job. Look at. But you know what? I think it was inverted. I think the original one had this in the back, and I'm gonna say, well, so what? When I switch it around, if I want it the other way, I'll just switch it. But it's fine the way it is. And it's right in between Rembrandt's eyeballs. Good old Rembrandt. More boat people. But not the 70s kind, because you know, the Vietnamese were known as the boat people in the mid-70s. There were refugees because of the end of the war. There were certain parts of the country, there were people who were saying, you are not welcome here, you were on the other side, we're going to confiscate your property and we're going to throw you in jail and your family in jail. So these people got the hell out of Dodge, and they got on boats and they went anywhere they could. They were welcome, and they weren't welcome in a lot of places. They were like, say, no, you cannot dock your boat here, you got to keep floating. I know Canada took quite a lot of Vietnamese in. I think Canada did good, and it took a while for Americans to, you know, say, yeah, okay, you know, and Europeans, you know, forget it. Thank you, Amanda. So, you know what's nice about today is I have a guaranteed driver that's going to take me back, and I have dinner with friends to look forward to if we make it back in one piece. Which I think we do, as long as I stay well hydrated, right? Okay, the kid with his school bag. I've got a test this afternoon. I don't want to be late. So it looks like it's the women are the boatmen, and the men do other kind of jobs. So it looks like this kind of job is unworthy of a man, apparently, because I have not seen a single man do a transport boat like the one that we just observed. Yes, you know, Amanda, I made a couple of friends. In Ho Chi Minh, I made a casual friendship with somebody who is in design. I think he designs, trying to remember, it's an interior design, but I think it's commercial. So, oh yeah, they do you know, B&Bs, but like high-end B&Bs. So they'll either rent out a property and gut it, and then like put the carpets, put the whatever, and then boom, this is how much it costs. There's the key. So that's what he does for a living, and he lives pretty well. He lived in a pretty luxury apartment, and he told me, you don't want to go to Nha Trang. Nha Trang is like a beachside resort. A lot of Russians, I think, and a lot of people that just go, oh yeah, I want to go to the beach, because they only have 2 weeks and they got nothing to show for it. So he said, no, you want to go into the Mekong Delta, and you want to expose yourself to authentic Vietnamese culture, you know, out of the way stuff where there isn't a lot of like trodden path tourists that, you know, like trash a place because of the way that, you know, it's just transactional. And that's not a vacation, and that's not really experiencing something. This is why I ended up going to Soc Trang, because it's out of the way, it's hard to get to, and it's where Vietnamese live their Vietnamese lives. And they happen, like other Vietnamese that travel in the country, have like resources here, like hotels and things available to them, and I just happen to be a white face that is making use of, you know, what traveling Vietnamese would use when they come here. They're not ready for me or you or anybody else who's European, who speaks English. But with creativity and patience, you can get by. So that was Phuong from Ho Chi Minh. And on the way here, I was in a recliner bus, and it took 6 hours from Ho Chi Minh to Soc Trang. And when I went to get off the bus at a P stop, there's a gentleman who started talking to me as we were leaving the bus, and he introduced himself as Tam. And he explained to me that he lives most of the time in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. And he has a job teaching imported Vietnamese workers how to drive tractors. Because I guess Canadian kids are too cool to take tractor jobs. So there's like very eager Vietnamese that are willing to get trained and work on farms with tractors. So we established that, and we both go to our separate urinals, and then when we meet, we start talking again, and then I step without knowing that there's this little like divot like this, and my leg spasms. It feels like I tear my muscle. I crumple right in front of Tam, and then before I know it, there's like 3 other Vietnamese that are on me, helping me up while I'm wincing and crying out in pain. Are you still with me? So Tam was really concerned, and he thought, oh, I caused this because you were talking to me. And no, I think it, in retrospect, because the same thing happened to the other leg in worse way about 3 weeks ago. So I think it might be dehydration that's playing a trick on my muscles, and my body is betraying me. I'm not happy about it, but I have to deal with it. So basically, after we got over the trauma, and I hobbled back into my reclining seat, not gracefully, but managed to do so, Tam said, you know what? We're gonna make sure you get to your hotel, and I'm gonna invite you to dinner with my family tonight, and you're gonna see what it's like to be, me poor thing. He said, we're gonna invite you out for dinner with my family, and you're gonna see what it's like as Soc Trangians, you know, do what Soc Trangians do, because they really don't like people from the big city like Hanoi or Ho Chi Minh. They're very mistrustful of that. They're probably like, you know, because of the end of the war, because like Tran, he gave up his Vietnamese citizenship. He's just Canadian. He could have both, but I think he was forced to leave as a refugee, and I think he was 4 years in a refugee camp in Kuala Lumpur. See, that's his backstory. And I've only known him like barely 3 days, and like we're really close buddies now. So he's like on speed dial. He's on speed dial. If I'm in trouble, he's like, Tran, help me, get me out of here. Will you be doing dinner? Maybe. You know, I didn't want to, like, I had dinner twice with them already. Tonight's gonna be barbecue. I'll ask. We'll see. You'll meet Tran and his wife, and one of his wife's sisters. Oh, look at this. Hello, what is this? This looks industrial. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna budge till, and you know, we're like, we're only 12:30, and I got till 4. I could stay here all day. We can just wave to the floating market. I'm just gonna sit here and hydrate. Anyway, by the way, I am so happy to see you again. You know, it's been a long 2 years. COVID happened. Fuck. You know, we were all like there was a quarantine, right? Like when I got back from Vietnam, within like a week, less than a week, you had to stay in, and then it was like 2 weeks you can't leave unless it's an emergency. I don't know. I don't know what it was like for you guys. I know that people were dropping like in old folks' homes, dead left and right. That's what happened here and in Ontario. So Tam, yeah, it's Tam, Tam, and we're in Soc Trang. Wait, is this Tam or yeah, it's Tam, Tam, and you know it's funny because his wife has a hair salon. And you know, he was telling about his issues, and I couldn't tell, but the man is 70, and you can't tell because his wife dyes his hair, but you can't tell that his hair is dyed. And yeah, I said, look, Tam, you got to tell your wife that I say she does a good job, because she does. You can't tell Tam's 70. And you can't tell that his black hair is dyed. So there's that. Yeah. So yeah, we're having barbecue. So the first night, I went to a traditional Vietnamese restaurant with two of his sister-in-laws and his wife. And I came in a little later because, here's the thing. English is a problem. So I had his phone number, and basically how it worked is I got the front desk to call me a cab. Then I call Tam, and then I give the phone to the taxi driver. Tam tells the taxi driver what restaurant to take me to, and then the driver gives me back my phone and takes me to the restaurant. And then they help me out of the car because I'm disabled. And then I kind of awkwardly sit down, and then you know, there was like they asked me what did I like, and I said, you know what, I like chicken and lemongrass. And so they produced a really delicious like chopped chicken parts in a soup and lemongrass, and so we threw vegetables and rice, and no, I had rice noodles, and it was yummy. It was really, really yummy. So that was the first time. I had 3 beers. I had 3 Tiger beers, and there was like, I spoke mostly with Tam because his sister-in-laws were a little bit shy. It was the first time. They're not used to it, and it was hard to get eye contact and like shyness, giggle. But we did do a lot of clinking. Like every now and then you acknowledge everybody with a clink of the glass. So we broke the ice that way. Next night, Tam says, okay, I'm going to meet you for breakfast, and then I'm going to put you in a cab, and I'm going to send you to a temple, not just any temple, but a special temple. You can spend the day there. Maybe you can fly your drone, and then the cab is going to come and pick you up when you let me know. Like, you just call me, and I'll call him, and he knows where to pick you up, and then bring you back to the hotel, and then we're going to meet for dinner at another restaurant at 7 o'clock. So that's what happened. I went to this marvelous temple, which was really nice. Chris was there yesterday, so was Desi. Heckle people from the Heckle app, the people that have an iOS phone can do the live streaming. And so I think I was on Heckle, not on YouTube. So I did a 2.5 hour live stream, and it was kind of fun. It went well. So went back to the hotel, and then the second place, we went to, we had baked oysters. I had a special order of raw oysters with wasabi and kumquat. And what else did I order? There was rice, and there was fish. There was really good fish. And of course, in Vietnam, they got the best dipping sauces. They got the best. Jerry, it's the best. They got the best dipping sauces. So you put your chopsticks with your fish, you put it in the dipping sauce, and you put it in your bowl of rice, and you go, ah! Man, did that taste good. So tonight we got barbecue. So it'll probably be beer again with barbecue, and looking forward to it. So all I need to do is do my job and hydrate, and hold court with you guys, because it's been such a while. It's been 2 fucking years since we were in Vietnam, all of us. So I haven't taken any vacation or anything since then, and man, was I due. Okay, something's going on with the phone. So I have a plan now. I need to figure out where I'm going to go that's going to be north of here, but before Da Nang. So Amanda was asking about Monkey Mountain. I guess, but when you're 6 months indoors because it's cold outside, time doesn't go that quickly. You wish you'd be able to go outdoors. Like when the springtime comes, Montrealers become a lot nicer, you know, to each other and to themselves, because you can go out and do outdoor stuff, but you have to wait indoors for 6 months, and you get what at the end of it is what called cabin fever. It's like, you know, I need to get out of the house, and then people like don't live in their houses for like the entire time because, you know, they know what winter is like, and they know what being holed up in in a dwelling where you go from your house to your car to a business. It's not a lot of fun living 6 months like that. So my trick is to bug off for 2 months at the worst part and to come someplace tropical like this and eat my way. Anything I want. There's more boat action. So that seems to be like, it's, not every winter I can afford to go away. Like normally, like people who are of a certain like income bracket have a home in Florida. So as a Montrealer or as a Canadian, they're known as snowbirds, right? They might even like winter in Arizona, for all you know. But a lot of them typically go to have a home in Florida, and so they bug off for the winter, live in Florida, and then they come back in the spring because it's really nice in spring, summer, and fall. So it's weird because I get a glare if I aim in the wrong place. Yeah, this is gonna make a nice, well, not for the personal stuff that we're talking about, but that's on the live. You know, like the YouTube is separated between what you are on your live and then what you publish. So I might actually like take the whole thing and then just cut out like certain personal parts and then leave like these parts, right? And then publish that. What do you guys think? Like, we'll just call it the keeper reel, right? And maybe do like a narration over that. I bet you're not a stranger to doing voiceover, Keith. So yeah, we've been going on for an hour and 23 minutes. Wow. So Amanda, Keith, and I have to, Ava Grace, I think. Let me see. Yeah, Ava Grace. Good. I used to have this mic on the original Vietnam trip for my live streaming, and then it broke. Okay, Paula. Well, yes, it's past midnight if you're Eastern time, and I want to thank you for your contributions. Sometimes you send me a little comment on the replays, and I see you. Sometimes you also give me some acknowledgement on Twitter. So I just want to thank you for hanging out, and yeah, we'll see you around. And you're welcome to come by anytime you like and say anything you like. So have yourself a good sleep. And hopefully we'll have more things on the replay. Look at this. Look at this angle. Oh my God. It's perfect. I hope the quality of the broadcast will hold up because I'm liking what I'm seeing in my camera. Well, thank you, Paula. Thank you as well, equally. Wow, can you imagine her shoulders, like how strong they are? And she's got they must have a good core, right? Because you need to keep your balance and you need to work your core. And they're probably like in good shape, you know, like let's say if you had arthritis or something, but you know, you because you're doing this kind of like activity, you're kind of like helping yourself by keeping yourself limber and spry. And yeah, I assume that this is for a fee and it's not, you know, like somebody who's doing it just for her cousins, because probably they're all related depending how far you want to go back. But yeah, she's the boatman or the boatwoman. So in Tam Kok, there was these really shallow caves, and these waterways that went through the caves, and you only had like about a meter above your head. So the women actually had to lay down in the boat, and there was this weird knee technique where they had oars and they moved it with their knees, and they were lying on their backs at the very end of a boat, and you got on, like you could get like 4 or 5 of you. And you would go in these caves, and it was like a magnificent like little tour that lasted about 45 minutes. And they were very, very strong rowers. So she just finished bringing some people across, and now she's doing it yet again. Wow. And here comes the bigger boat. So these were the highways. These were the traditional highways that apparently this form of life has died in Thailand. It used to be alive and well in Thailand as well as here. And here it's beginning to die in the Mekong Delta, where I was told there were as many as 5 floating markets. But now there's only one real one left. And I was told that the ones in Thailand are just for show, that they're not actual, they're just there for the tourism and not because people are using it as such. So that was an interesting factoid that was given to me when I went on a day tour up the Mekong from Ho Chi Minh City. So my arm's getting tired, so I'm going to put you guys down for a second and take a sip. Afraid I can't do better. You just have to see the boat person through the slats. Oh, it's 10,000. No. Wait. He wants 10,000. I don't believe in lottery. He's picking me out one. You know, he's insistent. I'm gonna. No. One. That's it. No. I'll give you 2. Two. He drives a hard bargain. So I just bought 2 $10,000 tickets, and now he's gonna spill my drink. So you know what they say, no good deed goes unpunished. So at least now I have some tickets to show for myself. And so this gentleman here drives a hard bargain. I would have preferred to give the wheelchair fellow some funds, but he rolled away before, and you know what? I was gonna undergive him because 2,000 is nothing. 20,000 might buy you 2 bottles of water, or like a drink and something else. It all depends on whether it's local price or tourist price, but I have a feeling that you know, and if he's coming back, I'm going to get a little annoyed. Yeah, no, he's not. You know, that's another thing is that there's a certain amount of respect that you do get that's unspoken about personal bubbles, and like no is no. Even if you have like difficult circumstances and you're trying to convey that non-verbally, I'm not responsible for that, you know? So it's really up to me to decide, and not up to your powers of persuasion being what they are. So yeah, I guess it's a case-by-case thing. Because in the big city, there are people that unfortunately are employed in like a scam type thing, where they're given like a corner where nobody else can work that corner. And the reason why is because they have to give a kickback to the people that control the corner. And what they do is they give you a freebie, like a really dried out donut that really is no good, because you can get a better donut at a better price, but they give you a freebie, and then it's to open the door to take a photo, and now you owe me money because you've taken my photo, and you're stuck. And it becomes like an overpriced thing, and it's like a guilt thing, so nothing is actually free. So the best thing to do is just ignore those people like you do not see them, not in a disrespectful way, but because they're interrupting you in order to ensnare you in you know, a scam. So all's fair. I just do not see you. I am crossing the street, minding my own business. No guilt. So that's like Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh. Less in Ho Chi Minh and a lot in Hanoi in the tourist district. And then there's these cyclo people, you know, the people with like a rickshaw bicycle. They're also in Hanoi for hire, but they, you know, they overprice, and you're a target. So those are the two things you're just best to avoid, because they're not on the up and up. They're just out to overcharge you, and occasionally, like maybe 1 out of 10 marks is what you're going to call them, end up being the payoff, and they keep perpetuating that, yeah, this is a good idea because 1 out of 10 I get a payday. So the more people know about this, the better it is for everybody, because you shouldn't encourage that. Alrighty, so Paula was here, and Keith was here, and Amanda was here, and I know that Ava was here earlier asking about animals. You know, there was an antique place I went out of Hanoi that we had alligators. Remember? I don't know if you saw that one, but there was a place that had like dangerous animals in a pen, and they even had this like it was like a trough that was like around a courtyard garden, and there were like sturgeons in there, like more than one, several sturgeons. Like sturgeons are like bottom feeders, right? They're scavengers. And I remember saying something like in passing one of the crocodiles, because you actually had to pay in order to just have a look at them. Like I think it was like $5 or something. And I might have said something glib like, oh, she's still here. I'm going to rinse and I'll be back in a few. Okay, well, as far as a crocodile, I might say something like, you know, you might get turned into a valise or something, you know, like, because crocodiles make nice luggage. And the crocodile snapped at me. The timing was perfect. So yeah, that was the on the ride there. I had some training on a manual bike the day before, and then I hired a driver to guide me out of the city so that I could drive on my own on a manual bike, and then almost to that little town, which was 40 kilometers. There's some stupid woman that stops her bicycle in the middle of the road, and I put on my brakes too quickly, and my bike skids out from underneath me, and I end up injuring one of my shoulders. Okay, oh, that's good. I'm glad you're giving me, because unless I have the context of who it is I'm talking to, or who's in the room, or there's nobody in the room, it'll determine what kind of jokes I will tell or not tell, or you know how it goes. So yeah, so I think you guys were around on that context. You might not have been in on the live, but you might have seen the replay, and if you did, well, that's what happened. So yeah, there was like a sort of a really sad menagerie is what you call them, right? Of animals there, and I guess they made a few bucks by letting people come in and gawk, you know. And I guess, yeah, I raised my hand. I gave her $5. What do you want, you know? I mean, at some point you say, well, okay, you know. I remember my first trip to Bangkok. I went to what's called the, I think it's also the floating market. Hey Tim. Just discovered you on YouTube. I just missed your recent travels. Good to see you. Timster. So Timster, you retired the 45 with the, at some point, you're the same Tim, right? You're my Timster, the 45 with the slash going through it. Yes, it is good to see you again. And yes, I'm back in Southeast Asia. And yes, things aren't always like running peachy keen. I had some kind of quad issues that have kind of like forced me to slow down. Indeed, okay. But I live to fight another day. Check this boat right here. Look, coconuts. Yes, we have fresh coconuts today. You know, I have yet to buy a coconut drink, you know, where they chop off the top and they put a straw in it, maybe a bit of lime or something and some ice. There's still time for me. Yeah, I'm glad you saw me on YouTube. I did do I don't know if it's because I did a Twitter thing or if you see me on YouTube, but I assume it's from my Twitter something or other. And yeah, I've been hanging out here all day in a place called wait, what's it called again? Yeah, Nang Nam. N-G-A-N-A-M. N-G-A, one word, N-A-M, the other word. And it's an hour and a half drive out of Soc Trang. And Soc Trang is in the very south part of Vietnam, where you're still connected to, you know, the peninsula. So Cambodia is not too far away, neither is Thailand. And I've already spent like a full month in Vietnam, and then flew out to Taiwan for 2 weeks, and then flew back again about a week ago to Ho Chi Minh or Saigon, and I am now here in the southern part, and I'm slowly working my way up north. I'm going to stop somewhere in between here and Da Nang, which I think you've been on some of my Da Nang broadcasts. Okay, you wouldn't have a clue. Well, that's good of whoever it was that shared. Thank you, nameless person that we don't need to thank right now, but we'll thank later. And you know, it's a given because we're all kind of connected, right? So yes, it's good to see that you're alive and well. And what are you doing yourself now that 45 is out of business? I just, like, I wonder about these stuff. It's like, now what are you going to kvetch about? So the woman in the middle, she's the boat person, and she ferries everybody and their little dog too across the waterway all day. Oh, and her cousin too. So I guess they take turns. That's true, Tim. And you know, we underwent quarantine, and of course, there was no traveling, right, for 2 years, until just like this fall when certain places started opening up. I think even in the fall, Japan wasn't open to tourism, and Taiwan just kind of began to, and that's why I was able to do some clever maneuvering with the fact that I already pre-ordered a return flight out of Hanoi some point in August, and I got a really good deal using Skyscanner. But what I didn't know was that Vietnam had only opened at 1 month at a time visas. You can't do a 3-month thing. You have to ask for 1 month at a time, and it's an online thing. You can't like mail your passport to their embassy and then they mail you back a visa with your passport. So that was a weird glitch because I had 2.5 months and you can't stay longer than 30 days. So then I thought, oh, you know, all those guys that like broadcast from Taiwan, there was Jevons, there was Casper, there was MJ Klein. Occasionally Dave and Osaka would go to Taiwan, and then there was John Sabot, Far East Travels, until he left Taiwan to live in Vietnam during the COVID years. So I always said to myself, you know, one of these days, if I get the chance to visit Taiwan, I would love to go and do what you know, John Sabot was showing us, and MJ Klein, who was always sitting eating stuff in his face with like really good food. I'm going, man, I want to be that guy. Stuff in his face with really good, you know, whatever they're putting in front of him, and they keep replacing it with place and stuff. So not only did I get to do that, I got to do it with MJ. So yeah, scratch that off my list. And yeah, I had a marvelous time in Taiwan. I would love to go back. The thing is that Taiwan is a special place. It's also an interesting lifestyle. Not as challenging as Vietnam is in terms of the language situation, but Vietnam is up and coming, you know, so you can go to the big city and English is not a problem. But it's when you go to the interesting parts, like where we're here, where English is more of a challenge. And so you got to be more patient and creative. Exactly. And you know, MJ's still alive, but he's given up on Twitter, but he is on YouTube. And he's in Asia. They use something called Line, which is like WhatsApp. But his YouTube is like Taiwan TV Live, something like that. It's like a Johnny Carson talk show. I was a guest twice on his shows. And yeah, he does it like twice a week. And little did we know, MJ is a badass singer. Like, you wouldn't know this guy has this voice. as well as like he's a real serious audio studio engineer. You know, he can master people's albums and things, and he can shred a decent guitar. And he's in the pocket with like other musicians. He'll just arrive, hook himself up, and he's in the pocket with whoever is playing drums, piano, on the sax. You're watching you on the 24-in TV screen. Oh, really? Okay, so that has to do with Viettel. It's like $30 a month. I think it's about $30. Unlimited. You know, Vietnam, whether you're at the extreme north, like close to the border of China, to the extreme south, I guess they got their cellular shit together. I mean, in Canada, I can't afford this kind of unlimited stuff. They don't give it away. Actually, Canadians pay more for cellular plans than just about anywhere else in the world. Yeah, and I'm a music producer, and okay, I don't want to exaggerate, but you know, like that song, Boston More Than a Feeling? He can out-vocalize the singer on that track, in that he's got a bigger range of like vocal, not like my Mariah Carey tricks, like little trilly crap. I don't like that of Mariah. She can sing, she's a good artist and she can sing, but her trills, they really turn me off. But MJ can do like different genres and stuff, and we were doing a road trip to a waterfall to drone, and he started singing in his car. And I'm going, I can't believe this is coming out of MJ. And he's never really shared that on the live, but he's got a lot of talents. Like I have him on a live stream, he's playing guitar in a pub. Just, you know, for the audience. He does it for free. So he's been living in Taiwan for 20 years, and he ain't going back to the States. He's married, he has a 10-year-old daughter, and he loves his Taiwanese life. And I don't blame him for it. He's fine where he is, and he's very welcoming and accommodating. Like he really took me under his wing, just like barely knowing me or remembering me from going into his live. And oh yeah, he just showed me his 3 brand new guitars. That it's not like a gear acquisition syndrome where he has to hide it from the wife. His job buys him the guitars. Because he's in the music industry. So yeah, he had 3 brand new guitars amongst the ones that he already owns. So I just have to take my anti-inflammatory muscular stuff to keep my legs muscles from spasming and making me an invalid. Good stuff. I was adopted by some locals in Soc Trang, which is the major city not far from here. His name is Tran, and I met him on the bus here, and I had a second leg accident while I was chatting with him. And there was a little step and then it was weird. Not embarrassed. In fact, I'm humbled by the kindness that I've been given every time I've had like a problem. People have been so kind to me. It's humbling. And no embarrassment. Marcus, hey, how's Finland? Is it dark out? Wait a minute, great to see you. Yes, thank you, Marcus. Always. Did you know, our good friend Pete Sullivan, he went to Paris, right? And he was like there a couple of weeks, having probably the time of his life. And now he's been back in New York, and he had a live today on Heckle. I don't know if you're on Heckle, but Heckle app is an iOS app. It's a live stream app, and he had a weird title. He said something like, "Why am I so lonely?" And he says, "Oh yeah, because I'm an asshole." That was his title. I laughed. I didn't see the replay because I had to take an hour and a half motorbike ride here, but I'm hoping he's okay. You're not on Heckle. Okay, use Android, so that's the problem. So you wouldn't see the thing, but that was the title. He says, "Why am I so?" I mean, he just came back from a holiday in Paris, and he's barely been back in New York, and he's like gone to like the dark side. Or the humorous dark side. Why am I so lonely? Oh yeah, because I'm an asshole. That gets me. It warms the cockles of my heart. Instead of, you cut me real deep now. Anyway. Okay, let's show you the view. He's, you know, like I've kind of like blocked him a couple of times, and he doesn't go away easy, right? So yeah, you know, I know you from his broadcast, in fact. And then you're with a keeper, and Peter maybe not so much when he was being Peter, an asshole. That's why you're lonely. So it's self-deprecating. Yeah, he can be funny. Well, it's not enough to keep him away, and I guess he's forgiving kind because he knows himself better than we do. Yes. Exactly. So he's still alive on Heckle, and I guess he has his days where he behaves himself, and maybe it's therapy, you know, to live stream, because you know, being like a working actor, right? You're not always working, and it's like auditions, and it plays on a person, right? We have Keith, who's also in the industry, let's say, but in Arizona, and you know, it's like going to auditions and competing, and you know, well, New York is like a different animal, I guess. But still, the industry is the industry, and it has its requirements. Do you see what I'm seeing, by the way? Yes, that's right. Well, hey, who are you calling old? Yeah, the rowing part, yes. I'm sure they got really strong shoulder muscles and good core, right? Because you got to keep those boats level and even keeled. So yes, okay. So tell me about Finland. In that, I remember in the early days of the internet, I think there were some like generalizations about the Finnish being not necessarily shy, but being like, you know, like where you have to like pierce through like a defense, but it's not because they were unfriendly. It's just that they keep, you know, they're to themselves, and they're not necessarily like, you know, like the way Americans can be gregarious and outspoken and complete opposite of what Finnish people are on a bus, let's say. So can you tell me a little bit about that, or I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about? I'm trying to, yeah, there's better glare. Their paddle technology. Are you an engineer, Tim? Are you an engineer? Because that sounds like what an engineer would say. And I'm just trying to see if I'm on that kind of a wavelength. Look, they brought me a whole pitcher of oolong tea unsweetened. Why am I making you laugh cry? Okay, you're definitely not. Alrighty. Well, spoken like an engineer. Cheers, bud. Swedes have the same characteristic. It's mostly a myth. They say we are quiet. Maybe this has been the case at some point in history. Okay. So yeah, the what I'm talking about was like it was on somebody's article about the Finnish in the late 80s, early 90s. No way, maybe it was the late 90s actually, before Y2K. Yeah, before Y2K. You think that, well, apparently the Finns are the happiest people in the world. And you know, the first time the Finns came on my radar is when I saw some like World War II footage as to how the Finns defended their lands against the Russians with very few people, but with a very, I guess, effective tactics. They were kind of invisible, quick, and the Ruskies, you know what? They said, "Fuck it, we're out of here. This is hard." We are quite jolly. Well, I think what was being said that maybe interiorly, but not on the outside, like you have like a resting bitch face. I think was like the gist of the article, and it could be like interpreted as being shy, or like I'm minding my own business. Don't talk to me, kind of thing. But again, the early 90s, no, the late 90s was a long time ago. But yeah, in like the last couple of like global surveys, I think in the last 2 or 3 years, the Finns come up on top as being the happiest people on the planet. Americans are somewhere in like 20, you know, on that list. I think Canadians are somewhere in between. Okay. Yeah, Norway, Finland, Sweden, and then there's this whole business with NATO, which you've seen enough, and I think Sweden's having more challenges with Turkey. But Finland doesn't seem to have that many international enemies trying to leverage, you know, their membership. And I guess that says a lot. Where you can say, well, that's the Swedes and these are the Finns. Denmark and Iceland. Yeah. Well, you know, one of my favorite Finnish periscopers was Hallipuu. Hallipuu and her husband, who wasn't Finnish, but he might as well be, who would make the hot chocolate. I haven't seen them in a while, but I miss them. And I also miss Jim IC Copenhagen. He has ditched Twitter, but I think he's still on Instagram or on Twitch or something. I tried to send him a message the other day to ask him, you know, where to see, because he has the iccopenhagen.com, but I don't know if he's live streaming, and he was a very good narrating voice for live streaming. I could spend a couple of hours just listening to him talk. Nice guy, Jim. Yeah, well, I agree with you about Turkey, and there's just a question of leveraging, you know, in terms of if all of the other members get together. But yeah, Turkey is certainly, they want certain political people to be handed over, and it's not going to happen. So it's just a question of attrition, or what is it going to cost. And the Swedes are wealthy, and they have powerful friends. So we'll see. Yeah, Jim is still awesome, and yeah, I miss his scopes. So I hope he finds a, you know, maybe Periscope will come back under subscription or something, because I kind of miss a lot of the community. It's a shame that they destroyed Well, they got rid of the platform, but the community is still around because you guys are proof. I haven't seen you guys, a lot of you, in a couple of years, and now you're all in on my live, like, you know, one at a time. So I have a local friend now that's going to meet me for dinner around 6 or 7, and we're going to barbecue tonight. Yeah, well, I think it's by par exprès, meaning on purpose. I don't think that they wanted just everybody Joe to have a powerful voice and just go live and show you something unfiltered. Because I remember seeing Heather Heyer got mowed down by that asshole in his souped up car on Periscope, not on the news, on Periscope. I saw a lot of those MAGA assholes. Yes, I'm talking about you, Baked Alaska, and yes, I'm talking about you. You know, you can name them all, and you didn't get them filtered or anything, and I think that was probably dangerous, and maybe the real reason, apart from the fact that you could play music and there was no music company coming after to sue you, so you could get away with that. Like they could be playing Michael Jackson right now, and well, on YouTube, yeah, they would shut it down, right? But if it was on Periscope, forget it. You got no money, and there's no way to sue you. Anyway. Yes, that's true. Yeah, the community is something. I mean, there was a lot about Periscope that introduced you to global people who are what we call keepers, right? They're just decent people, and they happen to live in Hong Kong, they happen to live in Paris, they happen to live wherever, and they share where they are, when they are, how they are, and you know them. And if they're showing it to you, you say, okay, I believe what I'm seeing and what they're telling me, and it's not through a filter. And thank you for showing us your little patch of, and then, you know, sometimes it's reciprocated. Like then they get their turn to show you their little patch of whatever. And then you end up, you see, you have a community. So then, like, what happens? You get assholes that come in, and you know what? Monitor, you're out of here. You're like, you know, you're not with the program. Copy bot, get out. Open Bobs, get out. And in spite of the fact that the internet is full of assholes, the community was still able to like police itself and say, no, feed P, you can't hit on us for money, and we know that you're a scam artist, and we're having fun at your expense. We're rebroadcasting. I don't know if you guys remember Feet Piece, but Feet P was this scam guy who, anyway, it's a long story. Just to say, yeah, it was an incredible community that's still, I guess, still alive. Some of them are in Heckle, the Apple people, because it was written for iPhone, but Android is coming out soon. So as soon as Android goes active, I would expect, hopefully, some of those old Android periscopers will get on board with Heckle, because it's you just go live and it works. Exactly. Oh damn, I remember him. Yeah, PP. But I remember the whole industry of people that were invested in doxing his comings and goings, telling the law enforcement, by the way, this guy who has a young woman under his, you know, his thumb, maybe she's not like, you know, maybe she's a prisoner, maybe he keeps her in a cellar, we'd better check on him, this is where he's staying. You better hurry because they might move at any moment. It was fun. It was weird because you could activate people anywhere in the world, and you could do like forces for good, you know? Yeah. I mean, he got arrested, and I think she finally left him because he hit her a couple of times, and the parents like tried to get her deprogrammed. I can't remember if she came from like an abusive home or. It's a sad. They lived in a car, exactly, and on donations, right? So yeah, Periscope was never boring. Never boring. And in fact, I'm a better traveled person because of Periscope. If it wasn't for Periscope, I would not have known Hong Kong before what happened in the last couple of years. Penguin 6, doing his lunch, eating noodles, going up to the peak, walking down from the peak, walking, droning. John Ho, same thing. John Ho's friend, the English teacher, who's an asshole, watched him a little bit and then finally stopped watching him. Raven Tao, the actress, she was a nice lady. And then there was this really snotty woman who I guess she disappeared, but she was also in Hong Kong. Anyway, I got to know Hong Kong intimately because of these quality periscopers. He's still a nice guy. Yes, exactly. And here's the thing. Generally, the community we're all on the same page. We know who the assholes are, and we're in agreement with that. And we know who the keepers are, the nice guys. And the teacher was an asshole. I remember this one time, he goes on vacation to Russia. That was interesting, all right? He has this meetup with a guy that, on the spot in Katerinaville, Katerina something, where he meets like a guy that hits the pickup artist. So he gets like a kind of a tutorial on picking up girls in like an open square. But the weird thing is that this asshole English teacher borrowed money from his Hong Kong girlfriend to do his vacation. He didn't even like save his own money. He borrowed, and I don't even, I'm thinking, you probably didn't even pay her back. And yeah, you're an asshole. Are you listening? You're an asshole. Anyway, I did not like that guy. And then there was a cat. What was the cat's name? Started with an M. I almost had it. Anyway, I'll let it go. It'll come. I think it was John's cat, and then he gave it to asshole, and then it died. What a douche. But yes, that asshole. We all know. Yeah, who cares what his name is? Yes, that asshole. What's the cat's name? Starts with an M. Anyway. No, he's not. And look, as entertaining as he is, he's from my hometown. He was raised and grew up in Montreal, and then he made it as a sports agent in New York City for soccer players, right? European, wherever, international. But he's born and raised from the Jewish community in Montreal. He was talented, but complicated and mean. Yeah, he's from Montreal. The thing is that sometimes he went to war with people based out of jealousy and other things. Like when he did that trip to England with Betty Boop, or whatever her name was, and he had this flirtation thing that was online. It was like a performative thing for show. And I guess he revealed how much of an asshole he was. But what was not known to the rest of the world is that he's married with like a 7-year-old daughter living in that same building that he never talked about. So he's hitting on a woman on Periscope on a live stream, treating her badly, trashing her name like she owes him something online, and like he'd never let it go. He like went real deep. and it's like that's not gentlemanly, but really. So he would pick out weird fights with people, apart from doing his crazy old man on the roof shtick, which was entertaining. And then people could separate the two. Like I'm not in it for like beating up on a woman. No kidding, right? Yeah. But the crazy guy going at people, boom, come out ahead, 360. You know, that was entertaining. But you know, you take people where they meet you, and you believe them who they are when they tell you the first time. So now, married, 7-year-old daughter, hitting on a woman and trashing her when she doesn't return back his advances. Yeah, and you know he had a thing. Oh, that David Osaka, such a phony. And then he starts trashing David Osaka for I don't know what, his success, that he's a nice guy. Apparently, according to crazy old man on the roof, Dave is such a phony. It's just a complicated, like there's a few, like the man has issues. Let's just say he needs help and he hasn't gotten it yet. And he can afford it. I'm not his therapist, but at least I can read the room. So that's my take on the old man on the roof. Yeah, it wasn't. And then there have been other instances, but yes. So we're all on the same page with this, right? We all saw it, and yeah. So again, Periscope was never boring. if at anything, was never boring. So I got to know Hong Kong. I got to know Paris. I got to know lots of parts of Japan. I got to know Taiwan. I got to know Hawaii, you know, like Jilo and a few other places, like that Vietnamese girl. Wait a minute, what's her handle? Go Rice Girl, right? Remember Go Rice Girl? We're still on speaking terms. She was nice. And then there was Go Rice Girl's brother-in-law. He dropped dead. He was like a health coach, married to her sister, and he just ups and drops dead. Weird. So yeah, Periscope really. Yeah. She is still nice, and she's Vietnamese, by the way. So there. So when we have something to show, we will show you. I bought this Tibetan Z stone. It's an agate, and the agates are formed by the Himalayan mountains, and they make these concentric circles, and they're called eyes. And you can have like these oblong agates with like 8 eyes or something, and they have certain powers or certain like ability to repel or to absorb, and they're collectible. And I bought this in Taiwan. I can't remember the city that I bought it, but I was kind of drawn to it. And yeah, I bought it so that the inkwell I wanted to buy, I could leverage, like by adding something to it, I could like get a better price. So it was 1,000 for the 2. And I got them to say, well, if I buy the 2, will you give me a better price? So they sold it to me for 800 Taiwanese dollars. So I got a nice slate stone inkwell with a lid, and this Tibetan Z stone, DZI. Yes, she died. She was on Periscope. She had a boyfriend in Australia, and she went on Heckle, So after, she was a crazy lady. She still lives in my imagination. She was nuts and a riot, and how could she die? How dare you die, lady? Because she was living in Miami with her dumb dog. She had the dumbest dog. I can't remember what her dog's name was. Thank you. But she was entertaining. And anyways, she went to go meet her boyfriend in Australia for a couple of weeks. And then she had health issues. She had to return back, and she died not long after. Yeah, she died like less than a year ago. And I think she was the only fatality we had on Heckle. Yes, Tim, right. I did buy a Chinese dragon in an inkwell in an antique shop in Vietnam. And then when I had my flight back, went to Seoul, and I had the free tour of the city, and I bought the ink in a shop in Seoul, Korea. Oh, that is sad. Yeah, crazy Vanita. How can you rob us of that? I am shaking a fist because you never know when your time is up. You just don't know when your time is up. And another thing that I'm beginning to, what the universe is trying to tell me is that you know, I can't rely on my body to be where I think I am as opposed to where I actually am. And that's taking some work on my part. It's like I'm having to come to the realization that I'm old as fuck. I don't know if it's because I need to act like it, but I need to incorporate it. And I've been resistant to that, and the universe is saying, I'm sorry, but you're hitting a brick wall now. You're gonna have to deal with it. And it hurts. Okay, very unfortunate event. Exactly, that's why I try to take it easy, enjoy life. Thank you, Marcus, for, yes, reiterating. Yes, your body betrays you. You fucking betrayer, but it's true. It happens to all of us. And it's not welcome when it happens. It's like, no, it's inconvenient. Sorry. Not now. Not now. Later. But yeah, it's like it just shows up at inconvenient times. Like I'm moving my leg now and there's a little bit of pain. But if I do it slowly, it mitigates it. So stay hydrated, as Paula would say. Let's check the time because, okay, it is 25 to 2. I have to go walk across a little bridge to like the second corner stall where I had drinks, and the lady made me lunch: rice, fish, ribs, veggies, and I think some chicken. And I took a bit of bites out of all of it, but I didn't eat everything because I just wasn't that hungry. Yes, everybody can betray you. I pulled a muscle in your neck. Oh, putting on Keith. See, your comedic timing is excellent. Even if you weren't meant to be funny, you're telling me a thing. It just happens to be funny because it kind of lets me know you're still around. You've been listening to me rant. Maybe you're coming and going. You don't need to cop up to. That's why I'm mostly naked. Well, yeah, you finish. You have your saunas, right? So, by the way, oh my God, I went to my first Japanese onsen, but in Taiwan, because the Japanese were actually in charge of Taiwan before the Second World War, and then after they lost all of their protectorates. It was like the Americans said, no, you might have conquered this, but it's now up for grabs, and they're going to have their own government, and you're out of there. But the culture remained, and there's this hot springs in Taiwan, Beito, and Ji Beito, which is New Beito. And so there are hot springs flowing into hotel rooms or into hotels where they have like 3 baths: hot, hotter, and cold. And you walk in, it's $25 in this one place, and there was like barely like a guy here, a guy there, and like I had a whole bath to myself. And then I would get out and then dry out and then go into another one, and then it was 2.5 hours. I came out exfoliated. So as far as you Finns with your saunas, I know you got to go naked, and that's how it's done. Yes, the sauna keep you warm. This is pathetically funny at the time. Wait, that's why I'm mostly naked. Why? Okay, why? Yes, because it keep you warm. Sounds really nice. The onsens, yes, because there are minerals and stuff. And I was having like a muscle pain damage issue, and it really helped loosen up and help the circulation go. Plus, I really needed to get rid of a lot of dead skin apparently, because we don't have onsens in Canada. We have showers. You can probably get a jacuzzi, right? But my friend's jacuzzi is 3 hours drive on a lake, and they close it up for the winter. And I haven't been there since he died. I gave him a Viking funeral. He was murdered in Fiji, and his brother kind of had help from the Sikh community that incinerated his body into ashes, and he brought him back to Canada in a box. And I said, like, he went through like a Jesuit school education, so he really wasn't into the whole Catholic thing, even though he was. So I said, I think what he would like is to be connected to his house on the lake, the one with the jacuzzi. And I said, what if I were to build him a small scale Viking boat, and then pile like some memorable stuff that we could burn, and burn the boat on the lake, just like within view of the house on the lake. Jesuit, yeah. Loyola. They're, it's like they were very high intelligent, like big on education. They have like a lot of private schools all over the world. And yeah, it was a wonderful funeral. It went well, and there wasn't a lot of I had lined the whole boat. Like I made the ribs, like they do with the Viking boats, and we had the sail, which was black and white. And then he had a lot of like Atlantic magazine, because he liked to read in his jacuzzi. So there was like piles and piles of the Atlantic so we had like crumpled that up and thrown that as like kindling. And so I had a rowboat, and then we kind of lit on fire, and then we rowed it out, and then we let it go. But the lining, it was like plastic bags. And what happened is like everything in the boat burned, and then the plastic bag just kind of contained what was left, and that we didn't pollute the lake with, that we brought back, and then we disposed of that. So it was a cool thing, because of course you're not allowed to really do Viking funerals, but it was my friend, and it was something that I wanted to do, and his brother said, go for it. And he said, when my time comes, I wouldn't mind having something like that too. Too bad we didn't have live streaming then. It would have been nice. The family did film it, but I never got a copy, and it's just the place has never been the same for me. I don't want to go back, because it brings back bad memories, like when somebody gets murdered in their own house, violently. He was stabbed to death. And I found out about it when I was on vacation in Guatemala, and it was like somebody punched me in the stomach and knocked the wind out of me. It was weird. And the next day, Pope John Paul is going down the boulevard in his Pope-mobile. Yeah, that was 1995. I was lucky to actually go to Fiji for the first time and spend 6 weeks there, camping out at his place. Life has weird left turns, and that was one of them that life dealt me. And it changes you. It's like before and after, right? And everybody has weird shit like that every now and then, if you live long enough. And maybe you learn something from it. For me, I know I got to send off my friend in Viking style. And he really did not like his sister-in-law. And his sister-in-law was really gauche. Like she really had, like she always did everything wrong, in the sense that they weren't close, and she made him a present, something that her father did. He shot some buck, you know, like a deer with antlers, and she had it stuffed and had it like on a plaque that you hang on the wall, and she gave it to him as a present, thinking that it was an appropriate present and that he would hang it up in his place in the country because, you know, he likes stuffed animals like somebody shot to kill for a trophy kind of thing. Of course, it was not his thing. But of course, he couldn't tell his sister that, you know, it's inappropriate. He just smiled and thanked, and of course, then he was obligated to hang it up in his place, because of course they want to know, where did you hang the antlers? So the thing is that I kind of vaguely remember him telling me that it was a gift from her, but when it came to choosing things to put in the Viking boat, I forgot. And I'm there talking to her and his brother, and I'm saying, oh, you know what would be really great? Is putting this antler thing in the boat, because he never really liked it. Okay, and then she goes, I gave him that as a gift. Uh-oh. So yeah, and they're in, so yeah, we were not good friends after that. So I don't know if you were there. I know. But it would have made a perfect thing, like to put in the boat and to burn. But yeah, I couldn't have, you know, it's kind of like somebody coming back from the grave and just giving it to you without any consequences. But yeah, we were never the same after that. Yeah. Thank you, Tim. I haven't told that story in a while, so hopefully I told it well, because you know, you only get one chance to tell a story, and you either hit or you miss. But you should have seen this. You know, what was funny about it? Because the house by the lake was very humid all year round. And you know, like the taxidermy stuff, they put in these glass eyes and they put in a kind of glue, you know, and you have the eyelids and the little eyelashes and stuff. But the thing is, I think the humidity was working with the glue, and it started to look mangy. It started to look like microorganisms were eating away at the eyes, and I was going, I don't like the look of the eyes. I think maybe we should burn this thing. Okay, so you should have seen her face when I'm telling her this, and then she just drops it. She says, I gave him that gift. Yeah, you can't live a moment like that down. You just, yeah, what can you do? You just say, okay, see ya. I know, but the eye they were quite mangy. It just looked like put it out of its misery. Anywho, well, you know, I just realized that I've been sharing a lot of personal stuff that nobody ever has really, you know, need to know or heard of, but it's not like it's going to come back and haunt me or anything. Yes, a taxidermied animal that obviously lost its life either by, you know, somebody with a rifle or a bow and arrow. I didn't bother to ask, you know, if it was shot or if it was killed by a bow and arrow, but it was a trophy, right? It was like, I'm gonna get myself a buck, or, you know, those horrible people that they'll kill an African animal and then just like pose next to it. What douchebags. What fucking douchebags. I don't believe in that kind of trophy hunting. It's just wrong. Anyway, I assume my friend was you know, he didn't go into super detail as to why he didn't like it, but he was stuck because it was the sister-in-law. But I certainly let her have it. But inadvertently, not knowing. Yeah, it's morbid. She certainly got the message. So unfortunately, we didn't burn the fucking deer head antler or caribou or whatever it was. But it was in bad taste generally, because my friend really had good taste. He like bought like art objects and very good books, and you know, I mean, even in his kitchen, he had like a gas stovetop cappuccino maker. He had a fish poacher, right? So the kitchen was like equipped for a gourmet chef. There was a lot of upholstered furniture. There was like all kinds of bedding and linens. There was fresh lake water you could drink and jacuzzi in. Wood burning ovens. We had a jodel. He had a jodel. You know what a jodel is, right? It's Finnish. It's a cast iron, enameled wood burning stove. You put one log in it, and it's sufficient that it will heat a full room all night very efficiently. Jodel. He had an electric toilet that was like microorganisms that would eat away at the poo. Like even before environmental became like a thing that you could do, he was like that ahead of his time. He had like where you end up with a drawer of soil out of this toilet. It had a fan, it had a little heater, and as long as you didn't poo in it with a course of antibiotics, because you could kill the colony of bacteria, the toilet lasted for like 15-20 years without needing to be, you know, the bacteria would hibernate. They would freeze in the winter and reactivate in the spring. Amazing. I can't remember what the name of the toilet was, but I think it was Swedish. For, you know, like, because they have country places, and again, ahead of his time. And he had a real jacuzzi. So, you know, that's why some stuffed animal head didn't belong in that country place by the lake. Shit-eating bacteria sounds, and you know what? It actually kept the odor down. When you lifted up the lid, you did not smell shit because the bacteria actually controlled the fumes. So, sounds like a new HBO show, The Yeast-Infected Freaks, or mushrooms, or whatever they are. Well, I gotta go to bed, Tim. Yeah, thanks for staying up. And it's been nice reconnecting with you, and now you know where to find me. By the way, if you don't subscribe, Tim, do please. Work beckons soon. Take care. Yeah, I've obviously off work all of January and February. Sucks to be not me. But in all serious, sounds great. Yeah. No, really, it was nice of you to come in. I missed you, Tim. I missed you. And I'm glad that you're just button away. Have a good rest. Have a good work day tomorrow. Picture me eating my way through the rest of Vietnam for the rest of the month. Sucks to be not me. Bye. Okay, so we're about 10 to 2, and I still have oolong tea, which I haven't paid for yet. But, you know, I'm good for it, apparently, because nobody's giving me, like, is he going to run off not paying the bill? Nah. And then I have this sugary fruit drink, which I'm taking very small sips. And I've got good old Marcus for company. So, Marcus, I only know of the two places. I know Helsinki, because it's the capital. And I can't remember the name of the town or village that Halipu lived in or went to do her Winterland broadcasting from. But at least I know what it looks like. And you know, what was that somebody saying about they rake their forests? Yeah, they're raking their forests in Finland. I didn't know what the point of that was, but apparently it was a talking point. but there's probably more than one city other than Helsinki. So I'm wondering, are you Helsinkian? If that's what the Helsinkians refer to themselves with as, or other people, or it's another town in and about Finland. And do you ever travel, by the way? Because you do travel via internet, but like, do you ever travel? Or is life so wonderful in Finland that one doesn't need to leave? We've got a barge. We've got a barge to show you. And it's blue. I guess it's construction gravel, and it looks like it's like a special grade. It's all like one size. Not too small, not too big. So it's probably meant to mix with concrete or something. I don't know what the clothes on the rack is. Maybe it's laundry day and it's drying on the side of the boat. But yeah, Venita, what a crazy lady she was, and I guess her daughter has her dog now, because I'm sure her dog has outlived her. Probably didn't even know she's gone. Such a dumb dog. Okay, you are a Helsinkian, and I didn't know, I just guessed. That's how, you know, like a Montrealer is a Montrealer, or in French it's Montréalais, and a Torontonian is a Torontonian. So, you know, a Glaswegian is from Glasgow, and I don't know what somebody from Edinburgh is called, but maybe you might know, like an Edinburgh, what did they call them, right? A Londoner, a Parisian. You went to Estonia, Sweden, Norway. Okay, so you keep it close by. You want to travel some more in the future? Yes, you must, you must. Do you know this YouTuber from Norway? His name is Harald Balder. He's very funny, and he's got about 1 million plus followers, and he's like been streaming on YouTube for at least 5 or 6 years. And I think last year he went to Nepal, and he had this chance encounter with this taxi driver called Kumar, and magic happened. It was just so funny. This taxi driver from, you don't know him, but I knew a couple of other Norwegians. Okay, well, yeah, Harald Balder is pretty famous. He's known all over the world. Oh, yes, yes, and she married the guy who goes, Stanley, come. Stanley, his dog. Stanley, come. I can't remember his name, but I know the name of his dog. And yes, yeah, she, Princess Norway, she was also quite an acquired taste, and seemed to have a charmed life. And she seemed really happy with, again, the guy whose dog's name is Stanley, and either he's moved from England and is living in Norway. Whoops. Yes, Simon Iggy. There you go. Yes, she is an acquired taste. And unapologetically so, which is how one should live one's life. But not to the degree of like Crazy Old Man on the Roof, right? I mean, there's decorum, and then there's, you know, getting along, and there's being kind to people. Yeah, she has that lake, right? That is close by, and sometimes she would go in the winter time when it was frozen over and tell us stories. And then one of her sons might have had like maybe like jet skiing, or not sure. But she always has stories. and her place looked magical, you know, like when there was snow and then she had to go out and feed some rabbits. I remember her feeding her rabbits. And then sometimes coming from outside of town and they would have snowed on the country roads. Yeah, there's the parts of Quebec when it snows like that. Yeah, she has 8 sons. Okay, a different with Peter that she had 500 children. 8 sons is quite. She has no daughters, no estrogen. That's peculiar. But maybe she's, you know, like she can be the only. She can only be the princess in the room. So maybe that ended up being a blessing, right? Like imagine competing with your mom. It might have been difficult for her daughter. Who knows? Who knows? But yes, you know, like when you picture somebody going off and living happily ever after, that's what I think of princess. Princess Norway. Plus she had a nice speaking voice. You know, like when she would tell a story or something, or she would explain herself, it was nice to listen to. But, you know, I'm thinking Halipu had maybe even a better voice, like for detail things. You know, like if she's talking about, I can't remember the name of her husband, but she would just refer to him, and then she would say, oh, he's off making hot cocoa for the clients or something, and then she'd get back to, I don't know, she was selling some of her knitwear or something. And that again is also kind of a magical life. Well, I don't know. Hey, look it. It's not her first rodeo. I'm sure she's had her fair share of an asshole and knows one when she sees one, and could probably, if he was not treating her nicely, I would be worried for Simon. You know, maybe Stanley is like indisposed, and yeah, you better laugh. You better laugh. You don't know, he better treat her. I mean, the fact that she has 8 sons is probably, but she doesn't need them. Yeah, so no, I think that's a given. It's either that or you're in deep trouble. You don't know who you mess with, but I figure he's done the calculation as such, and he's a brave man, you know, to take on. You gotta be. So yeah. So not worried. Not worried. So yes. You know what? Why don't we do something kind of fun? It's true. Simon is probably the one who squealed. No. You can go to the bank on that. I'm gonna show you so you see, and then you kind of say, wait a minute, is this, hold on a second, I'm getting something strange here. Okay. I hope he didn't erase it. Just a second. Yes, here it is. Okay, I'm gonna hold it still so you can see his little face right there. It says, sometimes I wonder why I'm lonely. Then I remember it's because I'm an asshole. Shall we hit play? So this is Heckle, by the way. And I actually had an hour and a half of motorbiking my way here this morning. when I saw this. So I had to stop the. It's true. Simon's probably the one who squeals. Yeah. Okay. So it takes a while. Like he's walking. You know, you've seen him walk in Brooklyn or wherever the fuck he lives, and then somebody comes in, and usually that's when he starts talking. So I didn't get to hear anything. So this is, you know, you've been on these walks with Peter, right? And he lets us know what's on his mind. But it takes a while. You can hear him like... I wonder if he would mind we rebroadcasting this. We're concerned. You've been there, yes. I know. I stopped watching it because it was always the same channel. Peter, get better material. Come on. Give us something different. So I wanted him to explain himself because it's a clickbait title. Yeah, okay. He's coming in. I'll let you know when something shows up. Oh, yes, okay. Yeah, you can hear it. But, so he's had like 2 or 3 weeks in Paris. Did you know? Because he was live streaming in Paris on Heckle. Like, he was like living it up. He was going to terraces, doing like touristy things. And I assume he speaks a certain amount of French because he seemed to be in his element. But it's a boring walk. This is not Paris. Toto. Oh, he was there for 5 weeks. Okay. So nothing's happening, but I think he's waiting for an audience, and then he's going to kick into whatever this is. So I hope he's not depressed. Okay, so Gadam Thrawn that's a good person who will not like try to provoke or try to pee in somebody's Cheerios. Okay. Oh, really? Asshole-ish. Okay, so he's starting. So that's the thing. You could goad him and he won't take the bait. He'll play along, which I kind of liked, but then he didn't have good material. Like, where is it going to go?
Thank you for telling me.
So James says, my asshole is good. So I guess he's playing along. They must have a history or something. Because generally Thrawn is well behaved. Oh, he says you're not an asshole.
I had sort of an asshole conundrum on the bus.
Oh, okay, now it comes.
I think I chose the assholier choice.
Of course, Peter. I'm gonna send him a link to this YouTube. I don't care if he gets upset.
I know you are.
He's not gonna get upset because we know him, right? He wouldn't get upset about this because it's Marcus and Noel.
But I think that moving forward, yeah, it's just a question of who you're an asshole to.
Exactly.
Don't be an asshole to the vulnerable. Because
yeah,
being
don't
an
punch
asshole
down.
To the vulnerable is truly being an asshole.
Don't punch down. I
being
don't
an
punch
asshole
down.
To other people
Punch
who are,
up.
you know, in the same league or capable or whatever, that's par for the course. But
I
being
agree.
an asshole to handicapped people or being an asshole to elderly people, that's not.
That's what Asia taught me this time around, is kindness. I'm humbled. I'm humbled. Okay, so he sounds semi-depressed, but he hasn't given up. I feel a little more secure now. I thought maybe it was like a red flag or something. I'm sure, because he's a complicated person. And yeah, it's clear he has issues, and he knows he has issues, but he doesn't use his issues as an excuse for bad behavior. He knows when he's behaving bad, and he doesn't say, oh, and I get a pass because I have issues. Yes, I'm talking about you, gal, in the city.
Well, I was in the seat that is supposed to be handicapped.
Yeah, but you were a nice
If there
troll.
are
You
any
weren't a
handicapped
mean
people,
troll. You were
Like
kind
you
of
can
like
sit in
you
it
played
if you
along.
want, but you have to give it up if there are handicapped people.
Okay.
And I kind of like nailed myself into a corner because this seat had this special like seat guard that allows you, right, it gives you leg room, but it also gives you the only spot on the bus where you can really store things. Like the rest of the bus, you have to keep things close to your person or hanging off your shoulder or whatever.
Is he saying
You
he gets a
don't
pass?
have room to store things. And I went grocery shopping and I took the handicap seat with the storage space adjacent to it. Like, and kind of like boxed myself in with my groceries into the handicap seat.
So he's back
And then,
home now.
Like a giant, and then of course every single old lady with a walker in the world tried to get on the bus.
Karen, take a
And
hike.
there are like these 6 other seats that you're also
Karen.
supposed to give to the elderly and the handicapped.
Oh, I'm
and,
crying, Peter. I'm crying.
Like everyone on the bus
Oh, it sucks
started
to be you.
screaming at the people in those seats to get out of them for the old ladies, and like nobody said a fucking thing to me.
I didn't know
there's
this.
a big sign over
I didn't
my
know this
seat
about it.
saying
I
that
did
I'm
stick around long
supposed-
enough.
but At the same time, in my defense,
Oh, okay.
where the hell was I going to put all of those groceries if I had to unbox myself?
Up your
and get up out of
ass.
that
Where's
seat?
he gonna put
this
it?
was my conundrum.
I am not sorry.
Mine's not for the wheelchair people. Mine is just for if someone has a hard time standing, has a hard time walking.
Okay.
You're supposed to give up
No,
that
no,
seat.
no, no,
You're
no.
not supposed
No,
to
no, no,
like
no.
it. There's a big sign
no.
next to it that says you give up this seat for the elderly
So
or the handicapped.
he's arguing
But I was
semantics
boxed in by all of
about
these
it's clearly cut
groceries
and dry. You give up the
that I
seat
had
to the
put.
old lady. I don't
Maybe
care if
they
you got a
did.
bag
I
of
was
groceries.
kind of talking to myself.
You're an able-bodied man.
So at least psychiatrically handicapped.
Oh, he's psychiatrically handicapped. No,
but
you
it
don't
was
get a
very-
pass. Sorry. Neither does the old man on the roof.
It was very strange, and I felt really bad. But like
Oh.
at the same
Oh.
time, where was I going to put all the groceries?
He felt
so I guess
bad.
like moving forward, the question to ask myself is it
It's
appropriate
entertaining.
for me to bring carloads of groceries?
It's
on
not
a
as
crowded
entertaining if
subway
you were
or
in
a
the room
crowded
because
bus
you
when,
know
like,
what I
it's
know,
rush
and
hour
I know what you